All right, MMA Maniacs, it's time once again for your weekly MMA podcast called Split Decision, brought to you from the Ruloff Family Inc. Studios, the new Ruloff Family Inc. Studios.
New and improved.
New and improved. You can't see it, but it's fancy. And I have papers. I have papers in front of me.
Copy.
I have copy, and I have a giant screen in front of me. It's kind of awesome. Yes,
teleprompter.
It kind of is like a teleprompter. It's a good thing I had LASIK, otherwise I wouldn't be able to see shit.
Oh, damn it. He complained about it.
I told you I win. I win.
Yep. What was the time on it, though?
How did I complain?
That was like, we're only at 30 seconds.
How is that a complaint? I was making a joke about
That's why
vision.
we got the extra monitors. You'll have the one in front of you soon.
Whatever. I don't want the one in front of me. I actually like this. Just saying it's a good thing I have LASIK so I can see it. Did you take off your glasses? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, see? Shut the fuck up then. Anyway.
Yep. Yeah. There you go.
So, yeah, check us out on Spreaker, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. And, of course, iHeartRadio now is where you can find us. That's a easy one to get worldwide. Tell your friends. Also, subscribe on iTunes. You won't miss a show. Or SplitDecisionMMA.com. Show us some love on Facebook, Split Decision MMA Podcast. Give us a like. And find us on Instagram and Twitter at SD_MMA. MyMMAnews.com 2.0 is up. Check it out. Eric Cole and the gang have revamped the site, and it looks absolutely fantastic. Also, StrongboardBalance.com. Change the way you work out and get on board. StrongboardBalance.com. StrongboardBalance.com. And bam, this is good news right here. I like this.
This is great
I like
news.
coming back to great news. Congrats to Rolando Velasco for last night's win at the Tai Chi Palace. 24 with his win. He got the vacant bantamweight title. That's
Gotta bring
badass.
the belt in.
Yep. Third round submission.
Good for him. See him in the UFC in no time.
Ground game was on point.
So it's Bueller and Dodge from the Ruloff Family Studios getting into some news. Going to break down some fight cards. We had a fight card last weekend. We got one coming up tomorrow. And we're starting off with Silva and Diaz, huh?
Yeah, so we got a little bit of news on that. And finally, we get their hearing
I feel like I'm
scheduled.
in a news studio.
Till the
This is crazy.
13th. August 13th, we will find out what is the fate of Nick Diaz and Anderson Silva following their fight. What happened, back in January now?
This has really been drug out, but a bunch. But seriously, when they both had drug tests, like false positives and
Right?
and whatever, this is taking way too damn long.
So we'll actually be able to see what is going to come out of this, if they're going to have longer suspensions, if they're going to have fines, who's going to have to pay the attorney fees.
At this point,
if
do you
the
think-
win's going to be overturned, what are we going to have going
At this
on?
point, do you think either fighter gives a shit?
No.
I mean,
No, I don't.
Hey,
Maybe Anderson Silva.
The more I hear from Silva's camp,
He's the only one that's
I think,
like, I will
think they're
prove
going to
that I
win.
didn't do anything wrong.
I think they're going to win.
Yeah.
They keep zeroing in on the inconsistencies. I think they're going to win.
It's quite possible.
I mean, Anderson Silva is being pushed to retire from the fight game, and Nick Diaz only fights when they dangle $500,000 in front of him anyway. So
That's not
either
true.
one.
That's not true. He just fought in the World
that
Series.
was his brother.
That was both of them.
No, he just threw a cup. We'll get to that. I have the video.
He was at the
Okay,
top
we're
of the
going to get to
stairs,
that.
man. He was at the top of the
But he
stairs.
fights.
He fights for honor and pride, sir.
More news coming out of the Team Alpha Male camp. A couple things a little strange going on. First of all, we have Martin Kampman, their current coach, who replaced Dwayne Ludwig, is also now leaving Team Alpha Male due to personal reasons. They're saying it has nothing to do with clashing of heads, that this actually has to do with it. His family wants him to leave Sacramento, that they don't want to live there ananymore. They want to move somewhere else.
Because Sacramento sucks.
And he probably wants to wear a shirt.
And they need to be able to bring, like I said, no one's been offered the job yet. Rumors are surrounding that they actually offered the job to Kenny Florian. Kenny Florian's not sure if he wants to leave Los Angeles now that he has his lucrative MMA news on Fox Sports
That's weird, though,
broadcasting
man.
career.
Well, not to mention he's hosting bots, right?
Yeah.
Battle bots.
Is he
BattleBots.
hosting BattleBots?
Yeah, remember we talked about that.
Badass. No, I don't remember anything.
So he's
of that
down in
today.
LA now. He doesn't know if he wants to move all the way to Sacramento to become a coach again. He said he would, out of any of the teams, he would love to coach that team. However, he does not necessarily want to move out of LA. So to me, this is what's going on. Is that I think it's a little strange. This is now the second coach in less than a year that's deciding to leave. They're saying it's
Because of family reasons?
They're saying personal reasons. Now, there was a lot of news coming out of that. Bang Ludwig is saying that T.J. Dillashaw was the only member of the entire camp that actually wants to be champion and wants to take training seriously. Chad Mendez was really upset about what happened, and he says that we made him. I don't know what he's talking about. I'm tired of hearing Dwayne and him ruling our team. Dwayne came here for a short amount of time and did what he did, but I'd say 95% of our wins were when we would have won anyway. Do you think that's true?
No, because he improved their striking immensely.
That's what I thought too. I
And
mean,
it's silly for Mendez to say that.
I mean, it's straight up. TJ Dillashaw accredits all of his wins recently and all of his improvement to Bang Ludwig. Even going out to Colorado now to train with him,
Right.
for when he has fights.
Which is why it doesn't make a lot of sense for me for them to ask Kenny Florian to come and be their coach. I mean, obviously what they need is a striking coach. Kenny Florian is world-class jiu-jitsu, and this is a wrestling camp.
He says, Dwayne was a small, tiny part of that. I hate that so many people are assuming that Dwayne completely made our team. I'm tired of hearing about it. I don't think it's getting weird. I know TJ is going to train with him probably forever. There's guys like that, like Danny, who are going to train with him. There's certain guys who just like working out with him. I'm not one of those guys. I like the system we have here. Team Alpha Male, and what we've done here is what made me as a fighter. Dwayne's training was tiny little part of that.
No, like I said, Dwayne improved their striking. Before that, they would wrestle hump guys a lot. A lot. And you can't deny that. Uriah Faber was the most dynamic striker in their entire camp for a long time. And then all of a sudden, Dwayne shows up and improved their striking over a couple of years to where these guys went from getting decisions, not all the time, but getting decisions to really using their hands a lot and getting finishes quicker that way.
Do you feel this is like a big clash of egos? You got guys like Chad Mendez, guys like Joseph Benavidez and Uriah Faber who have been basically running this gym, running this camp as fighters themselves. They bring in a coach who wants to change the way they look at fights, and all of a sudden they clash heads and the guy leaves. And you got a guy like TJ who's in the start of his career who is willing to take kind of direction from somebody who's been in the fight game for a long time, and it helped him immensely. Whereas the other guys are kind of butting heads, being like, "Oh yeah, that may work for you, but this is me."
Right.
And maybe that's why coaches like that, maybe like Martin Kampmann. I don't know. I mean, obviously they're saying it's family, but that's maybe another reason Martin Kampmann's like, you know what, this isn't working out for me. You guys aren't really listening.
Exactly. If you get hired to be a coach and then half the guys that you're supposed to coach don't want to listen to what you're doing, I think it's entirely possible. I mean, we're speculating at this point, but
yeah, it's total speculation. But I mean, to me,
it's not
just illogical. From some of the things I've seen and some of the way the guys talk from the Alpha Male camp, I feel like that ego does like to run that camp. I mean, does that seem out of the realm of anything?
Yeah, I agree with him. I think that you got a coach that's going to try to tell people what they need to do, and then they're probably telling the coach, "No, I know what I'm working on." Then why are you asking a coach?
Right. It's a lot like when we talked to Frank Mir, and Frank Mir would show up and tell them, "Oh no, I'm working on this today."
Yeah.
And he admitted that affected his game.
That didn't work on it. Yeah.
And all of a sudden he comes back and he's healthy and he can listen to people. Now he's wrecking shop. But like I said, I think that if they want a new coach, changing gears here a little bit, I think it should be Stephan Bonnar.
All right.
I think Stephan Bonnar would be a good coach. I mean, he can't fight anymore anyway, and he's a Golden Gloves champion. He's got quick hands. He doesn't knock people out, but he doesn't have the power to. These guys obviously do. If they're looking for a coach, I think Stephan Bonnar would be a good choice.
I'm sure there's some guys out there they could reach out to.
Yeah.
I think
to, again, take direction.
Yeah, I think to be a champion,
but Stephan Bonner's
you have to be accepting of someone telling you what you need to work on.
Or do you feel like maybe Uriah Faber steps down from fighting full time and becomes a coach full time?
I don't think he's going to be a good coach.
Don't think so?
No. I can't think of any angle of the game that he can help anybody else improve.
Especially because the way Uriah Faber fights is so unconventional and improv on the spot.
Right.
You really can't teach that. No, I think they need Stephan Bonnar because he's bigger than all of them. And they'll have to listen to him like
you need a Willy
dad.
Wonka for that Oompa Loompa factory over there? Is that what you're saying? Is that what's happening? Is that what's happening?
You can find him on Twitter. That's Dodge the Badfish.
Can we write that analogy down? Because I really like that. You need a Willy Wonka for that Oompa Loompa factory.
I will be making the meme later today, and it will be coming out.
Beautifully done, Dodge. You are a wordsmith.
Myles Jury has gone 6-1 in his UFC career as a lightweight, is now dropping down to featherweight after his loss over Donald Cerrone. Featherweight's stacked division, guys. I mean, we talked about that before. How do you feel about Myles Jury dropping down?
Well, if you got to fight Donald Cerrone and you can't beat him, you got to go somewhere else.
I think with them about to change the rule with IV, I think it's a hell of a time, not only for him, but there's a couple of other people that are dropping down too. Is it Diego Sanchez is also dropping? Right?
Yeah, we have that coming up.
Yeah,
he's all over the place with his weight.
He's going to be the second guy next to Kenny Florian. Diego Sanchez, by the way, dropped in 4 weight classes, starting out at middleweight on the Ultimate Fighter, going down to welterweight, lightweight, and now featherweight for this bout that we're going to talk about.
Diego Sanchez going down to featherweight?
Down to featherweight.
Wow.
145. Again, the only guy ever to do that before that was Kenny Florian. Pretty much took the same path as him. Ultimate Fighter at middleweight.
How light did BJ Penn get? Just 155?
155. He's fought up. He's
gone all the way up to 205.
Yeah, he's gone all the way up to 205.
but still, that's 4, right?
Yeah, but in the UFC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't fight Lyoto Machida in the UFC.
No. It was Rumble the Rock.
Yeah.
Back out in Hawaii. I want to see a fat BJ Penn 205. I've never been able to find that fight yet.
I'd like to see him at like 225.
You want to see a chubby BJ?
Well,
I can show you some websites soon.
So the culinary union is at it again. This time,
It is such a random graphic.
What's the cat for?
that's the shocked cat. This time now, they've decided to team with the Teamsters, and they're going to try to unionize the fighters of the UFC.
Right.
Trying to tell the fighters of the UFC. I actually got this as an email somehow.
A formal email?
A formal email, no joke. I have no idea how they got a hold of me.
Because they heard we've been talking about them for over a year now.
Personal email, not one that's associated with this podcast.
Really?
I don't know how they got a hold of me. It's a little worrisome.
They all know where you are. Though. They're watching you.
And they decided to
Just like you're going to get an email from the Smurfs.
I'm not Gargamel. I'm not Gargamel.
No, they need a Gargamel.
No, we tried to eat them. They've decided to put their own website together and bring the fighters together to unionize, citing the Muhammad Ali, the Muhammad Ali Reform Act, to include MMA, saying that they're fighting for unfair wages. They're fighting for. It's pretty crazy how far they're going with this. But this is the same
It's
union.
brilliant, though.
The same union that this year tried to block MMA in New York.
No, but I mean,
And stop them from building a fountain outside their building because they said that it was wasting water.
But this is brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. I mean, they're striking at the right time for this. You already have the lawsuits, the class action lawsuits that are coming up with all the former fighters like, Kung Lee and whoever else is on that. And then you also have this shitty Reebok deal. I mean, this is the perfect time. Because how many fighters are going to listen to, if these guys can get through to the fighters, are going to listen to them just based on the Reebok deal alone? You got a few guys that are like your champs mainly that are saying, "Oh no, it's a great deal." Everybody else hates it, and they lost a lot of money on it. So if the culinary union gets to them and it's like, "Well, if you guys unionize, this kind of stuff wouldn't happen." Oh, really? Okay.
And, it's like, and the new acronym for the UFC, according to the culinary union, which they've had all kinds of things now, is "You Fight Cheap."
You fight cheap, which is accurate.
it is. It is.
It's funny though.
I mean, I hate to say it about the the organization that I love, but at the same time, this Reebok deal sucks. And this is a brilliant move by the culinary union.
I'm glad that they finally came out and just put the cards on the table, and they're like, "Look, this is really what we're fighting about. We want
We want to unionize, but not necessarily just the fighters. They also want to make sure that all of the station casinos get unionized as well. For
right." But I'm thinking they're thinking domino effect. now.
hospitality.
Yeah, they're
Right.
thinking domino effect now. Where they're like, "Well, hey, the fighters here are a union now.
Yeah, right.
Why not the workers?"
I'm interested to see where this goes. I really am. To see if any of the fighters.
Somebody finally got a brain in the culinary union because I think this is really smart.
That's probably the best tactic they've used so far.
Yeah,
Kudos to you, culinary union.
No, I'm never going to say that.
No, I'm never going to say that either. I'm just saying it's some good warfare right there, kids. Hitler had some good moves too once in a while.
Oh,
That's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out.
Hey, what, you can tell me he didn't win some battles? I'm not saying he was a good dude. He's an asshole. So is the culinary union.
So Mayweather has finally responded to.
Wait a minute. The culinary union is comparable to Hitler?
Yes.
I'm okay with that.
I mean, besides putting things in oven, really. I mean,
That's radio. That's
That's radio.
Radio.
You can find him at radio@gmail.com.
I feel sorry for who actually has that email.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Floyd Mayweather has finally responded to Ronda Rousey in her remarks that she made at the ESPYs. He says, "I have yet to see any MMA fighter other boxer make over $300 million in 36 minutes. She can call me when she can do that."
So he made.
And she responded with, "Call me when you can read and write."
I can't math right now. So what is that like? He's basically made $10 million a minute.
Sure.
Is that right? I can't math right now. So how much did she make for her fight? In the last 34 seconds. Can we do the math?
Somebody? Who's Matthew?
I just have to say, I'd rather watch 36 seconds of Ronda Rousey than 36 minutes of boring ass Mayweather.
I agree.
I 100% agree. Yeah. So did everybody in the sports bar I was at this weekend.
Somebody listening, do the math.
And call us next week.
And email us or something. Yeah, I got into like a flame war on Reddit over like Mayweather versus Ronda Rousey. It's stupid speculation fight that will never, ever happen.
Okay, what'd she make on the fight?
I don't know what she made in the fight. Let's see if I can find out here. We'll Google this.
Anyway, go ahead with your
No, I was just people on Reddit were just like they dumbfound me when it was like it's like you're not going to give Ronda Rousey even just a hair of a chance in a mixed martial arts fight versus Floyd Mayweather. It's silly to me.
She would destroy him, I think.
Well, that's true.
If she got a hold of him, I believe that. But people online are like, no, because she's a girl. And I'm like, if your argument only boils down to the fact that she is a girl, then you're an idiot. I think somebody said, oh, so he's a finely tuned athlete and professional boxer. He'd kill her. I'm like,
she's not?
So the fact that she's a finely tuned athlete and professional fighter doesn't matter at all. No, he could train 6 months takedown defense and he'd destroy her. She could train 6 months of boxing. That's not the same thing. You're dumbing down everything. Basically, what Ronda Rousey does is simple because she's a girl. And what Floyd Mayweather does is difficult because he's a man.
I haven't been able to find the payouts yet, although I know she did make at least $40,000 just from Reebok alone.
Yeah, but they also made dollars on pay-per-views.
Right,
too.
that's what I'm saying. I can't find the actual breakdown.
Right.
All they've released so far is the amount of money she's made from Reebok for that single fight.
Well, let's
and it
say
was
it's
$40,000.
that she made at least the same what Nick and them made.
Guarantee she made $1 million.
Okay,
easily.
So let's
easily.
let's divide 1 million by 36 seconds.
I like the clicks.
Is that right? We have an old calculator here with a handle on it.
She made $27,777 a second.
A second.
How many seconds are in a minute? 60. So multiply that by 60 and then multiply that by 36. And how much would she have made in a 36-minute fight?
Yeah, that's true.
Well, she would never go to 36 minutes. She'd only fight five.
No, but we're
rounds.
putting it
Times 60.
and then that times 36.
Okay.
Split decision MMA, not your calculator.
Yeah.
$6 million.
So, well, shit. All right, fine. Fuck you, Floyd.
We know that Mayweather makes
60
most
million.
money.
60 million.
60 million. But
All
even then,
right.
we know that Money Mayweather makes money for every fight that he has. Is
Yeah,
it
but
worth it?
she'll fight 3 times a year.
Yeah, he'll fight
Right.
once and make that.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're not
well.
helping the argument,
No,
dog.
I'm just saying.
No, but
we know that he makes money. Is he
Floyd-
worth it? No.
Floyd's not helping his own argument by throwing money at the issue, though, either. Like, just respect where respect's due, you know? But I did see his interview, though, on, what was it, SportsCenter? Who was he? Yeah. I mean, he did try to give her credit before the interviewer kind of started pushing him and egging him on.
He did say, I definitely do know who she is. He had to come out and basically say he does know who she is.
Who, Ronda Rousey?
Yeah.
He said, oh, I've already won like 6 or 7 ESPYs, so she can have this one. She
Yeah,
deserves it.
exactly. Really backhanded comment. A little compliment there. Well, I've won 6 or 7. So it's bound she's going to win one of them. And congratulations to her.
Right on.
So further into the Ronda Rousey world, we have a whole block of Ronda Rousey news here. We have Cyborg Justino has decided to possibly seek legal action for the slander that she feels Ronda Rousey
She can't.
is pushing against her, saying that, I've passed the same exams she has to prove that she's clean for the same company. I am drug free. She cannot slander me with lies in the media. My lawyer will call her.
All she keeps saying is stay clean.
Yes.
She hasn't accused her of being dirty anymore.
She
just
says, straight
stay-
up, if Justino can make 45 pounds, pump full of steroids, you can get off the juice and fight the division like everybody else. I don't see why I should be under pressure to prove something against her when she's the one who has something to prove. She has to prove she's not a fraud.
She can get slapped with an injunction, like, cease and desist.
She also then was on ESPN. She went on SportsCenter and said, she cannot say anything about my doping. That was 2011. I've passed 6 tests in the same exam she's doing. We're in the same organization. I don't think she has the right to say anything she can't prove. It's going to be a very different fight. If we fight, you're going to see violence. I'm ready for this fight for a long time. If it doesn't happen now, it won't ever happen. The UFC needs to make this fight happen. Only they can make it happen. I am ready to fight tomorrow if she's ready.
She's not ready to fight tomorrow. She's talking about a catchweight fight then?
Yes. Of course she is.
No.
But as a fight fan, do you think this fight needs to happen within the next year?
Yes.
Yes.
2 years? You willing to wait 2?
She's not going to be here in 2 years. Ronda is not going to be here in 2 years.
She says she has 3. She has 3 years to make the weight, and she will wait 3 years, and that's it.
I don't know. I just, especially with this newer movie coming out,
We do have some things. So Ronda Rousey is going to star in a movie based on her life, playing
the porno?
herself. No, we already talked about the porno. That was last week. You
That
were
was last week. You weren't here.
I saw the graphic. I just wanted to make a stupid joke.
So she will be playing herself in a movie about herself. This will be let's say it's like like Howard Stern did in Private Parts,
Right.
Jean-Claude Van Damme did in JCVD.
Right. There was like half movie, half documentary.
Yeah, it was very strange. So there's a lot of people saying, do you think A, she should play herself in a movie, and B, do you think we need a Ronda Rousey biography right now?
No.
Either?
No to either.
I let her do what she's going to do, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let her earn the money while she has the ability to make the money. Because in 5 years from now, there's a good possibility that nobody even knows who she is.
I don't know about that.
I think that.
No, I'm serious. Think of some of the biggest names in MMA and think where they're at now.
But you still know who they are.
I know who they are, but I mean, they're not in the main like they
Like
were.
I said, if she disappears, that's different. But I don't think her legacy's going anywhere.
No, I think it should be like, Russell Crowe and Cinderella Man, like, made decades later. I don't think her playing herself in a movie about her fighting while she's still fighting makes any sense at all. I don't get it.
Yeah, because you don't have the full story of her career.
Correct. Yeah, I agree with that part of it. And a lot of people, including Daniel Cormier, are saying basically they feel it's basically 20 years early.
Right.
That she is ahead of her time. There is not anybody other than that's currently happening right now that has been in judo as long as she has that's ahead of all these girls
Right.
that has all the experience. There's girls in judo right now that are training or girls in jiu-jitsu, whatever, that are going through the same hoops. They're just younger. When that crowd gets to be in about 10 years, 15 years, and they enter MMA, they'll have just as much experience as Ronda did when she entered MMA.
But she's still she's still a pioneer. She's still the first
Right.
one to do it. But we also needed enough time to pass to where they can fabricate details
Right.
in the movie to make it more interesting.
It's going to be based on the book about that she just released that she's going to be playing
Yes,
herself.
but they still need to tweak the details of it, like in Cinderella Man.
She is also going to be in a new Carl's Jr. commercial.
Really?
Are you excited about that?
Kind of.
She gets to be scantily clad, just like Paris Hilton, Kim Kardashian, Charlotte McKinney.
Yeah. So I guess I'm kind of excited
You're
about
all right with that?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's not your Misha Tate, but
Is she going to have a messy bun?
we'll see.
You never mess with the bitch with the messy bun.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
And then we have the last little bit after her win, which we will get into in a moment. She did leave her belt in Brazil, championship belt that she won. She donated to the Instituto Ranaco de Rio de Janeiro, a judo school where Olympic bronze medalist Flavio Canto runs. in
So
Brazil.
she's never trained there or anything like that?
No, she is friends with him. She's been there a couple times before. She's done speeches. She's done some training sessions there for the kids. It's basically a nonprofit place where kids can go and learn judo. She decided to leave the belt in Brazil for them.
Oh, because Batch Korea said that the Brazilian people deserve
Deserve a belt.
Yeah.
Yeah. She goes, yeah, you're right.
I've got 10.
Here's my
You
gift.
can have one. Nice.
Did you get a chance to catch World Series fighting?
I just saw this fight. That's it.
All right. So in the main event, which again we can get to in the actual breakdown here, and there were some things that were happening, including a lot of eye poking, eye gouging, and possibly a hold that was a little too long.
Dude, Jake Shields' eyes after that fight, it looked ridiculous to me.
And now Ray Sefo has announced that Rusumir Palhares has been suspended and stripped of his belt for the things that happened in this fight.
Well, they're both suspended at this point, right? Because Jake Shields is also suspended for the after the bell punch.
Yeah,
right?
after the bell punch, yeah.
Right.
But
Totally warranted after the belt punch.
he is suspended, and Paul Harris is suspended indefinitely and has been stripped of his title due to the things that happened in this fight. Also, which happened at this fight was Nate Diaz and Khabib Nurmagomedov got in a little scuffle outside the crowd right before the main event.
Oh, this happened before the main event?
Before, like, as they're walking out to the cage, this happened.
Nice.
And then my favorite picture is this one right here, where you can see Nate Diaz photobombing Khabib Nurmagomedov and his team
That's
This is right before the fight happened?
right before the fight.
This is right before it goes down. This is actually probably what pissed Nate off.
They were throwing drinks, they were scuffling, and now Nurmagomedov has asked the UFC to fight Nate Diaz in the octagon. And I think this is where we need to settle. Obviously, this beef that's been going on through Twitter for a long time. As a fan, do you think this fight needs to happen?
Now it does.
Now it does for
Now
sure,
there's
right?
now there's
Yeah.
B,
total-
do you think the UFC should definitely make this fight happen by pushing off, well, they're kind of scuffling outside of the cage, let's make it actually inside the cage. Like, let's make it, or are they just not going to mention it?
Half of Shale's fights were basically made outside of the cage, weren't they?
Yeah, but that's a lot of talking. But I'm
Verbally.
talking like this is an actual physical altercation at a rival promotion. Are you going to bank and use that to market and be like, these guys don't
but
like
you're
each other outside the cage?
But you're not going to mention World Series of Fighting when you do it.
Right, that's my
Yeah.
question.
No, you can't mention World Series of Fighting when you do it. And then you got to talk to your guys about why the hell they're at World Series of Fighting.
Well, they're supporting their camp, which is allowed to happen.
In his Reebok kit, though?
Why not?
Eh.
He's a company man. Obviously, Nate Diaz isn't in his original shirt, not a Reebok kit.
The fight should happen. I mean, if that's the question here. Then
How do you see that fight going?
how do I see that fight going?
Without cups and people and chairs and things that are...
I think Nate Diaz has got a lot to work out for. You know, you got a guy here who likes to fight off his back way too much. You know,
There goes the cup and the middle fingers.
and you got someone like Khabib Nurmagomedov who beats up bears. I mean, I think it'd be a great fight. Nate has to stand up more, not fight from his back against Nurmagomedov.
Who's really good at wrestling.
Yeah.
So you can see this footage. This is footage that, we got kicks. We got punches. We got chokes.
Why did one of the guys from the Diaz camp throw like a leaping hook that didn't land on anybody?
We tried.
They tried. So,
We
Ray Sefo
actually have better footage on our site that goes out into the serving area.
Yeah.
There's,
It was not just one little brawl. It kind of kept going.
The one in the serving area is really good because you got random people who run in, punch people,
And then run
away. They just so that they could say they were part of the fight.
I don't know anything about that.
Hulk smash!
Aziz and Ray Sefo have to watch all this footage and decide if they're ever going to allow the Diaz brothers to come back to a World Series of Fighting event, even if it is to support their training partner and friend, teammates, Jake Shields. Same thing with Nurmagomedov, if he's allowed to corner his younger brother.
This is probably the best publicity Ray Zeffo ever got that he didn't have to pay for.
You don't think he paid like a bag of weed to the Diaz
Hey, man,
brothers?
don't throw your cup at him.
I got this backpack full of green. You know what kind of green I mean. If you go throw your cup at Khabib right now, go photobomb him and then throw your cup at him.
And further news, which we announced last week and a little bit before that, is Fedor Emelianenko is in negotiations now with the UFC to sign. Will this actually happen? We don't know. He says he wants a rematch with Verdum.
How long has it been since he fought? 3 years?
It's been a while. It's been a long time, actually, yeah.
Yeah. And he got beat his last 2 outings in the
3.
The last 3 outings in the cage. Bad idea, Fedor. Bad idea.
Let's see if we can find it here. But, I mean, do you still want to see Fedor in the UFC?
No.
Not at all.
Not now.
Don't care.
No.
He's not going to fight anybody. There's nobody that you would like to see.
No.
Rampage.
Technically, he's coming off 3 wins. There you go. 3 losses in Strikeforce. Fabricio Verdum, Antonio Bigfoot Silva, Dan Henderson. Came back, won against Jeff Monson, Satoshi Ishii, and Pedro Hizzo.
He can't win on American soil, so they have to let him fight Verdum in Brazil. Must be it.
Rampage. I'd like to see him fight Rampage.
A little bit of weight class difference. I mean, Fedor's always been a puffy, squishy, heavyweight, but
Right. He's
they
not.
say he naturally should probably be down at 205.
Right.
He just never lost.
Rampage
He
wants to
never
fight Shogun,
Is that
and
what?
Shogun wants to fight Rampage.
All right.
had. We keep regressing like 10 years in mixed martial arts.
We do have some fight announcements coming up. We do have Jens Pulver, after
What?
2-year layoff, is going to make his return at Title Quest in Wisconsin. You can check that fight out. August 29th, going up against Kleber Luciano.
Did he get fired from Walmart?
Marlon Sandro, one of my favorite fighters, former Sengoku champion, who's probably in the twilight of his career. Never made it to the UFC, but was pretty big in Sengoku and over in Bellator. Will be fighting at Road Fighting Championships 20. That's August 22nd. And the UFC 191, we originally talked about this. We have Daniel Cormier going to defend his belt for the first time against Alexander Gustafsson. That fight is still happening. However, the Johnny Hendricks, Tyrone Woodley will be now the co-main event for that fight.
Cool.
And Hendricks has already announced he's ahead in points already.
Also on that card, Ryan Bader against Rashad Evans, and Juliana Pena taking on Jessica Ai.
That's a pretty legit card.
I like that card. That's the next pay-per-view coming out for the UFC. And then UFC Fight Night 76 going back to Dublin,
Dublin.
where you got Joseph Duffy, the man to formerly beat Conor McGregor, will be taking on Dustin Poirier, one of the men to lose to Conor McGregor. October 24th on Fight Pass. We'll see how well Mr. Joseph Duffy has come along if he's going up against someone like Dustin Poirier. I'm pretty excited about that fight.
MMA math will be heavy that night.
And heavy. UFC Fight Night 77 going down in Brazil November 7th. We get to see Dan Henderson versus Vitor Belfort 3.
OG Pride fight you have written down.
Yep, OG Pride fight back from Pride 32 back in 2006. They also had a rematch in 2013 at UFC Fight Night 32. Same number. Weird.
Very strange. Why isn't it Ultimate Fight Night 32? Change the
They
number.
already had it.
Change it. Well, then then make it UFC Fight Night on Fox 32.
That would jump way ahead. We're at like number 8.
Then
16.
wait.
Yeah, 16 now.
16.
Then save the fight.
Save
for
it.
another year.
Wait, that's more than a year. And then UFC going to Melbourne, Australia for the first time. UFC 193 is where we're going to get Robbie Lawler versus Carlos Condit for the welterweight belt November 15th.
Love that fight.
And then the last one we have to announce, UFC Fight Night 78, which is also the Ultimate Fighter Latin America 2 finale going down November 21st from Monterrey, Mexico. You're going to have your main event as Kevin Gastelum going against Matt motherfucking Brown, as well as Diego Sanchez dropping down to 145 for the first time to face Ricardo Lamas.
And this is tentative, just in case we have another visa issue.
All these fights are tentative because someone's going to get hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, honestly, I bet you Hendricks and Woodley both gassed out just signing the contract.
No. Woodley might have gassed out. Hendricks is ahead on points because he signed first.
Yeah.
And Diego did a yes cartwheel all the way into
All the way into the cage.
Yeah.
All the way down. He's the yes cartwheeling all the way down to 145. That's how he's going to drop the weight. He's going to do a lot of yes cartwheels.
Yeah, but Hendricks only used 70% of his power when he was signing.
Right. The pen didn't break. The pen didn't break. It wasn't heavy ink. It was just, he's
Just use 70% of the ink.
Yes.
So we did have World Series of Fighting, which happened head-to-head with UFC 190. This was on NBC Sports. Your main card, you have Islam Madedov going up against Jimmy Spekuza. Islam winning with a TKO in round 1. You see?
What the hell are you talking about?
The main card of World Series of
there it
Fighting
is. Got
22
Got it.
that happened on Saturday.
I just heard nothing. Never mind. All right.
I didn't get that printed out in front of him.
Oh, that's why he's confused.
Yeah, that's why he's confused. So, yes.
Abu Bakr Nurmagomedov up against George Moreno, unanimous decision. Clifford Starks over Mike Kyle, unanimous decision. Marlon Morales keeps his belt up against Shaman Morales. Submission rear naked choke round 3. And then, of course, you have your very controversial Rousimar Paul Harris defending and keeping his belt against Jake Shields with a Kimura of round 3 at 2 minutes, 2 seconds. Did you get a chance to watch this fight?
Yes.
The main event.
I watched the fight, yes.
All right.
I also watched the video that...
Did you watch the eye pokes that were apparently happening?
Yeah.
Do you feel that they were warranted, that all of them were eye pokes?
No.
Rousimar Paul says, A, Jake Shields was slippery and believes he was greasing the entire fight. And B, was getting chins to the eye, so that's why he shoved his thumbs back towards him to push his face away.
Yeah, he was using the chin. Yeah.
Well, the fact that he never got warned once, though, about the eye pokes...
He did.
Oh, did he?
He got warned multiple times.
Right.
Like 3 times. They actually stopped the fight midway and told him to
I was
stop.
reading online that he didn't get any warnings. He
No.
didn't get a point deducted, though, right?
Did no points deductions. No points deductions. Now, he was told mid-fight, while Jake Shields was on top in guard, they stopped the fight, giving them basically both a break, and he got warned. He got yelled at that he was doing eye gouging, and he needed to watch his thumbs in the eye.
All right. And then he admits to it later because he got chins in the eye.
He got chins in the eye. So he said he wasn't intentionally thumbing him, he was pushing his face away.
Of course. Good,
With his thumb.
Good old
With his
excuse.
Also, now, the hold at the end, do you feel it was longer than needed?
Oh, yeah.
Way longer than needed.
Way.
If you look at the not the Jens Pulver, God damn it, Joe Lauzon video that we have posted on our page, I mean, with Joe Lauzon's calculations,
Right.
Polares holds on 5 times longer than Lauzon does in a submission release.
Correct. However, Paul Harris's coach and Paul Harris both say that we will not ever release a submission hold until we are stopped by the referee. So no matter if Jake Shields is tapping or not, we will not release the hold until the referee stops the fight, because they've lost fights previously due to that fact, or they've started to release and the referee didn't see it, the fight was continued, they end up having to do it. So they said they will not. He said the only time he will release the fight is when the referee puts his hands on him. He did not feel immediately when Steve Mazzagatti put his hands first on him, but when he tapped him to tell him to release and shouted at him to release, he released immediately. Do you feel that's true, or do you think?
I don't think there was anything immediately about anything he did.
Yeah, especially if he's doing it every time.
every single time.
Yeah, it's not like, it happened once.
Right. And he, like you say, he's already on notice about it.
Do you feel again that warranted you should not release when a fighter is tapping, that only when the referee stops the fight?
Who did we have that actually just walked away from beat? Was it
Lauzon?
Lauzon, yeah.
Lauzon walked away from basically pounding Takanori Gomi's face into the concrete, or into the canvas. I mean, he got up and walked away
Right.
Because the ref wouldn't.
because the ref
fight.
didn't stop it right away.
And that's what he says in his video too. If you go watch it, he says he knows when somebody's done,
Right.
And he weakens his hold on it until the ref stops him. So
But you've also had things-
he's ready to let go.
You had things like, what is that, UFC 1, where Hoist Gracie.
Yeah, but
holding
throwing
on to a
UFC
coach.
1 into this situation.
I'm just saying, and but this is where the argument is Hoist
Yeah.
Gracie says, I'm not going to release until the ref does it because of things like that. Because,
Right.
where Shamrock starts to keep fighting again because the ref didn't stop.
But it
fighting.
almost even looked like Polaris cranked
harder.
Yeah.
It does.
So, I mean, we weren't there. I mean, we weren't in any of their positions. We don't know what they were physically doing or feeling. But visibly, we've never seen anybody do what Polaris does.
Correct. Well,
Especially
yeah.
that consistently.
Consistently. We've seen it happen
Consistently.
maybe once or twice, but not like that.
Yeah.
I like the people that are talking about him this week as Paul Harris.
That's the joke. That's the running joke. He is Paul Harris.
H-A-R-R-I-S.
Yeah, that's his
Paul
name. That's how
Harris.
it's pronounced. So that's Paul Harris.
Paul Harris, even though Paul Harris is a completely different fighter in the UFC. Or
Bruce
was.
Samar, Paul Harris.
Paul Harris isn't in the UFC anymore, huh? Yeah.
I don't think he was actually ever. And then you had
There was a Paul Harris somewhere, damn it.
UFC 190 from Brazil. You want to start there on the Fight Pass prelims?
Yes.
Do you have that in front of you?
I do. Guido Canetti over Hugo Viana. This was a decision. Then you also had Vitor Miranda over Clint Hester with a TKO in the second round. That was on Fight Pass. If you don't have that, you didn't see it. Then you got Luriel Alcantara went up against Leandro Issa with a decision, and Warley Alves up against Nordine Talib. This was a guillotine choke in the second round of 4-11. I didn't get to see these. I was out of town, so if you want to stop me anywhere, feel free. Patrick Cummins up against Rafael Cavalcante with the TKO, elbows in the third round.
That was a
45
good
seconds.
fight.
Yeah.
It was great.
That was a great fight. And Patrick Cummins has come a long way. Again, he did exactly what I thought he was going to do, which was kind of use the Ryan Bader technique to beat Cavalcante, take him down and pound him out. Drop him with heavy hands, take him down and pound him out. Cavalcante needs to work on his defensive wrestling. He's good in jiu-jitsu, and he's a good striker. I think he was getting a little bit better at the striking towards the beginning. But, I mean, Cummins is a tough guy, man. He was bloodied up. He was beat up pretty good, and he ended up winning that fight pretty well.
But do you see him doing anything?
He's getting better. I see him getting better every fight. I don't think he's like in the top 15, top 10, ready for a title shot.
He
anytime
has
soon.
that potential to keep moving up and cross that
He
line,
needs.
though.
He definitely needs to work his way up. I mean, I don't know. Let's see where this puts him in the rankings. I just, is he going to beat Daniel Cormier at light heavyweight or wherever he thinks he's going to go? No, he's up to number 10 now. He's in the top 10. Just broke the top 10. He's number 10.
Yeah, so he's going to consistently improve until he crosses that line, that threshold.
Yeah. I mean,
Or-
I'd like to see him against guys I'd like to see him against Rampage. I'd see him against Rashad or OSP or Glover or anybody like that. Nobody else?
No.
Nobody?
Like I said,
you think he's not that great of a fighter?
I don't know.
Not sold on him.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
I mean, he hasn't done anything world beating. He's not done anything where I'm like, oh my God, he's the next guy.
No.
But he's slowly and steadily improving.
I think he's improving.
Oh, yeah.
And to go from a coffee shop to that, he's doing pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, he did have wrestling background, but I'm just saying.
Moving
Damian
on.
Maia.
Yeah, moving on from there, we got Damian Maia gets his rear naked choke over Neil Magny.
Damian Maia says that he could take out Robbie Lawler if it goes to the ground.
If you tell him not to punch me,
Yeah.
I got this.
I got this. I got this. Just saying.
Damian Maia just, every time you think he's going to go retire and go teach somewhere, he just comes in and gets a win in the UFC. Then you got the main card.
How do you think he does against Robbie Lawler?
I think he does it against Robbie Lawler.
You like Maia.
I do. I don't think that he should fight. I like him. He's a cool cat. He's great at jiu-jitsu. I just don't like him as a fighter. I really don't. Because he fucks up a lot of people's paths to the top, but he's never going to be that guy
Right.
that he was when he first came out. Because he was unsuspected when he first came out. Nobody knew how to plan for his game. Now everybody's prepared for him, and he's on the prelim card now. He went from being a main card fighter, a main event fighter a couple times, to a prelim fighter now. So I don't like that fight. I don't think it should happen.
All right.
And I think Lawler with sprawl and brawl probably could beat him pretty easy.
I think so too. Especially with his hands.
Yeah, especially now.
His hands.
have developed so much in the speed.
I mean, he's always had heavy
Yeah,
hands.
yeah, and he's so much more aggressive now.
Yeah. I mean, he was always pretty aggressive back then, but I think he's more accurate with his aggression
Right,
now.
right.
He tends to know when to push it forward instead of just coming all the time.
Well, we kick off your main card here with a unanimous decision with Claudia Gadela going up against Jessica Aguilar. Claudia gets the decision.
They're
Yeah,
saying
which-
she could be the next girl to go back up against Joanna.
Yeah, but this just proves that the best from where was she from, Invicta,
Yeah.
to now she's probably middle of the road.
I think she's done a lot better. She's shown. I mean, and think about the fight she had with Joanna. You know what I mean? That was a split
no,
decision.
I'm talking about Aguilar.
Oh, Aguilar? Yeah, I was
Yeah,
going to say, I think Claudia, I think she poses some definite leaps and bounds in her first fight with Joanna. She's definitely improved. She's looking a lot better. I would like to see a rematch for that fight.
With the announcers, and I just heard this, in passing conversation, were the announcers saying that if Claudia was in the same weight class as Rousey, she could give Rousey trouble?
I didn't hear that. I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't really pay much attention to the audio.
I could see it with her size, and she's pretty thick.
Yeah.
But again, I don't see anybody giving Ronda a run for her money.
One thing I like, I guess we'll get to the main event here soon, so we can talk about that then. Antonio Silva over Sal Pelele with a TKO via punches.
Poor
and how much he
Pelele.
loved.
I expected so much.
I thought he was winning that fight in the beginning.
Really?
And then it just went down here quick. Like I had him going to win the fight. Like in my head, I'm like, he's got this.
Oh, yeah.
He's got this.
Yeah.
He's going in. He's a lot faster. He's a little lighter on his feet. What's happening? What? No.
Mimis.
Yeah.
Stefan heart conditioned Struve gets a win over Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira. Unanimous decision on
That was
this
a good fight.
I was just sad that he couldn't finish it.
Yeah. I was a little too.
Did you see, like, he would get in, he would start knocking the shit out of it, and then back
off. It's like he thought he was going to get in trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't actually put him out to pasture. We need him as a Walmart greeter for the beginning of the UFC headquarters.
Maybe
Chuck's getting tired of doing it by himself. We need to start rotating shifts.
Maybe his corner was calling out like, hey, watch your heart rate. Back off.
Yeah, maybe. They had a monitor on him. Like they installed it inside. They installed it inside. It's actually on his heart. And they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay.
No, because there's 3 times that he basically had him out on his feet and let him recover.
I was happy he started using front kicks to keep him at distance, though.
Right.
For about damn time. He's
Is there like some bad blood there that he just wanted to punish him for 3
no.
rounds? No.
I think he respected him and he didn't want to put him
Yeah.
out. That's really what I think. And Nogueira says he will work for the UFC. He's accepted their job offer to him. He's not sure if he wants to retire yet.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he was scared of that heavy hand that Nogueira was swinging around.
Yeah.
Because every once in a while he would hang there. And,
like, whoa.
Yeah, if there was any accuracy in Nogueira, I mean, it was a whole different fight.
Then we had Reginaldo Vieira up against Delano Lopez, unanimous decision.
He is now your Ultimate Fighter Brazil 4 bantamweight champion.
So this is the first of 2
winner.
that shouldn't have been on the main card.
You got to give him that.
I know. This drug it way past 10 o'clock.
It did. Hey,
2 people in the living room I was sitting and fell asleep.
They're not real fight fans.
No.
Fuck them.
This was on past 10 o'clock?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The main event started at 10.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Past 10. Like 10:15.
10:15.
Yeah. And then your second fight for the Ultimate Fighter Brazil finale.
Glacio Franca up against Fernando Bruno. Rear naked choke in the 3rd round. Your winner would be Glacio Franca.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He is your lightweight finale finalist. Right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And we had both Nogs on this card with Shogun getting the win over Antonio Rogerio Nogueira. And so
What did you think about the fight?
both Nogs lose.
Yeah. In Brazil.
How did he with the decision, huh?
Yeah.
How was his boxing?
I think I would have rather watched someone blowtorch molasses off a roof in December.
Both guys look slow. Both guys are a little bit past their prime. This is a fight that was a rematch from the Pride fight that we didn't really ask to see. It was great to see legends out there and fighting, but
Yeah. I kept telling the guy where we're at. I was like, take it off slow-mo.
yeah.
Take it off. Let's watch this real
we
slow.
watch it
Was
real
this like
time?
watching 2 dads fight at a soccer game?
No,
with
it's
a little
just
more
like-
technique.
Yeah. And a bigger crowd.
And a bigger crowd.
And then your main event, of course, your champion Ronda Rousey dispatches Betch Correa in 1 round, 34 seconds with a knockout. Told her not to cry.
I thought it was hilarious because the whole time leading up in the weigh-ins, she's in her face yelling at her, yelling to Ronda, don't cry when I knock you out, don't cry. So when she knocked her out, she turned to her and said, don't cry.
Yeah,
Face plant, baby style. Face down, ass up, arms to the side, night-night.
It's Two Love Crew style, isn't it? No, amazing boxing by Ronda Rousey. Didn't go in there for the takedown. Didn't go in for the judo throw. Went in there for the knockout.
Kind of went to grab the clinch. Betch tried to back up. I think when she got hit, after she stood back up, she realized that Ronda actually has a little bit of power behind her hands and went. And you could see it in her face. Instantly go, oh shit,
I don't know what to do now.
oh shit. And then got hit with the knee, and the knee just put her. You could see the rest of her against the cage, hit her right in the temple, and one on the jaw going down. Yep. It happened quick.
I mean, I don't know who expected Betch Correa to win this fight. I know
Nobody.
Except Betch Correa did.
14-1, 30 to 1 underdog. What was it? Like 40 was the odds? It was crazy.
But my favorite part about this isn't so much Ronda Rousey winning because we all expected it, but it was the reaction from people, not just fans, but like to see how many people now support the sport, like the football players, the baseball
everybody
players.
was all over this.
Yeah, just the tweets that were coming out from all these famous athletes. It's like that to me was really cool to see it open up that much across all these different spectrums of athletes to show how wide this sport is reaching.
I mean,
now.
it was all over ESPN. It was all over the regular news. It was all over every outlet you could find was talking about this fight and the win after it happened.
Bet Dana White's glad he changed his mind on women's MMA. Because this was probably the biggest knockout the UFC has had since. Well, I can't say knockout, but biggest fight the UFC's had since Bonner and
I mean,
and
it
Forrest.
was, yeah.
As far as coverage goes.
As far as coverage was amazing for this fight. And what was funny is that, but no, even the amount of coverage that was for this fight, nobody was still giving Betch a chance. No. Like, she was still the underdog, and everyone was still trying to build up. Like, this is going to be great. This is going to be amazing.
At this point in time, everybody just wants to watch how fast Ronda beats somebody up. And that's what's amazing to me.
It feels like Tyson in the 80s.
Yeah, you can like you can go to work, and I can talk to people that I know don't watch UFC.
Never watch it, and they knew about it.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's a cool thing about this fight. This really crossed a lot of gaps and helped spread mixed martial arts to a lot more people, which is cool.
Ronda Rousey, Miesha Tate 3 is what is happening.
Is what's happening, yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Miesha Tate's going to lose again.
Yep. Do you think it's quicker than the last time?
I don't know. We'll see what Ronda goes to. She's got a first round and a third round. Does she go second this time?
I think she'll take her out in the first again.
Or she's just going to stay
prove it.
Or is she going to go all odd rounds? Maybe she'll go to the fifth?
I think, Miesha tries to say, well, I made it to the third round because I'm improving as a fighter. So I definitely know that I'm improving as a fighter and I can take it to the fifth and win the belt. And a lot more people are saying, no, I think Ronda Rousey was toying with you up to the third round and then finally decided to end it. Because people were telling her, you can't make a fight past the first round. You don't have the cardio. You're never going to make it.
Right.
And she even said, I wanted to see how long I could go. There was a couple times I could have went for a judo throw or saw submissions available, and I decided to hang back to see what else came up.
Looking at her now, like I have no doubt in my mind about that.
That was
at
what was
that point
happening?
in time, it was like Ronda Rousey. She was only halfway through her fight game at that point. We still didn't know what to expect from her. She was really good, obviously, and that's why we have women's MMA in the UFC.
I mean, again, that was before the Sarah McMahon fight, before the Kat Zingano fight. Before,
Exactly. So we got Miesha Tate going to the third round, and immediately after that fight, Ronda can say whatever she wants, and there wasn't really a whole lot of reason to believe her. Oh, I was just toying with her. Well, there's not really a whole lot to believe about that. But now,
do you feel like she was toying with her?
It's entirely possible.
Right.
So again, my question is, does she go, you know what? I toyed with her that first time. Now I need to shut her up again and show that she's not improving. She's never going to be on my level. I'll shut her down in the first.
Because even with this fight with Betch, I believe that she did have the idea that she was going to go out there and toy around with her.
Oh, she did.
And then Betch punched her in the face 2 or 3 times. She did get a hold of her face.
Yeah.
And then at that point made the decision, fuck this.
I still think she wanted to toy with her and just knocked her out and was like, oh, well.
God damn it.
Just like Lenny breaking the rabbit.
You know what I mean? Yeah, pretty much. Like,
I want to hold it and touch it
and pet it and rub it.
Oh, look, it's face planted on the Straight Outta Compton emblem.
Gotta walk away.
Don't cry.
Can you bring another one in? I wasn't done.
Walk off home run right there.
Yeah.
Somebody come in here and hold her up. We can have Bernie's.
Oh, good stuff, though.
So now we move on to going on tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it's going on tomorrow night. This is
from Nashville, Tennessee.
It's Fox Sports 1. If you have Fox Sports 2, you can get the prelims. If you have Fight Pass,
so
you
Dennis can watch the prelims.
Prelim. Yeah. So we got the first 3 fights going down on the UFC Fight Pass. Stop me if you want to go over any of this. Anthony Krista Delu up against Scott Holtzman.
It's like they're just making up names now.
Crystal Delu. I think it's Crystal Delu. And then Marlon Vera going to be against Roman Salazar, and Chris Dempsey up against Jonathan Wilson. That's all on the Fight Pass. You can only see that on Fight Pass. And then moving on from there on to Fox Sports 2, if you have, DirecTV, apparently.
Right.
Is the only way you can get that. Frankie Sands going up against Sirwan Kaki. And then Dustin Ortiz going up against Willie Gates. Sounds like a singer. Chris Camozzi going to be Tom Watson.
That's our local tax collector.
Camozzi?
No, Tom Watson.
Tom Watson. Is that who I send my checks to?
Yep.
Uriah Hall is going up against
All right, pronounce this one.
Oliwali Bamgaboos.
On short notice, they just signed this guy.
And you even had a chance this morning to work on
Bamgaboos. And it's still really hard looking at it. Like, I want to put a vowel in between the M and the G.
They just signed this guy that's going down on short notice. I'm actually going to take Oluwale for the upset.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
I don't know, man. Uriah Hall, he's been looking good.
Has he?
You can't even click on...
Just saying.
Bam Gaboos.
Take him for the upset.
I'm not going to go with Bam Gaboos. I'm going to go with Uriah Hall. I don't know. Oluwale Bam Gaboos sounds like you got to be pretty damn tough to have
Right?
that name. Where's he from?
Like South Africa?
No shit?
Yep.
Is he from the
Yeah.
like the Congo or what?
Yeah.
The Congo region?
Congo's not South Africa.
Well, I know that, but I'm pretty sure. Let's see.
Like I know maps. Shut up.
Yeah, why are you?
You know he's not
it's
good
like
in geometry.
Mexico, you know, the Canadian part of Mexico. That's what you just said.
It's like Panama, Mexico, right?
So you're saying the Congo's in North Africa?
It's way farther north and south
It's way farther north than south.
than south.
Way farther north and south.
It's a couple
Then
thousand
south.
miles.
Can we see an image of the continent of Africa, please? And then can we get arrows pointed to South Africa and the Congo?
Well, I'll tell you right now, South Africa is the very bottom of Africa.
Are we sure? Are we sure?
If I was
He's
a bet-
Nigerian. There you go.
There
Do
you go.
Okay.
you know where Nigeria is?
Oluwale Bam Gaboos is fighting Uriah Hall. All right, cool. Then
We now have the
we
Africa
now have
overlay.
Africa continent. So South Africa's at the bottom,
Yeah.
and then the Congo. What are you talking about? It's like it's
It's somewhere in the middle.
It's south of middle. It is south of middle.
South
If
middle.
It is 2,000 miles from
If you
the
draw a
bottom.
line straight across Africa, it is more south of that line
more south.
than it is north.
Central.
Okay.
It's central.
It is not
Africa.
central.
But guess what? It doesn't matter. He's from Nigeria.
So he's from North Africa.
Nowhere that any of us speculated at all. From the
I said
exact
Africa.
You said South Africa.
But I also said Africa. Just like if I said New Mexico and he was from Mexico, I said the same thing.
Because it is a new and improved Mexico.
That makes me a New Mexican. So moving on to your main card now after that terrible, terrible segment. Ray Borg going up against Gian Herrera. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm guessing Gian Herrera.
Remember, you can't fight the Borg.
You can't fight the
Just
Borg.
assimilate.
Just assimilate.
I'm going to take Borg.
Yeah, you got to take the Borg. Sarah McMahon coming in against Amanda Nunes.
I'm taking Nunes.
I got McMahon all day.
All day?
All
Tough
day.
one. I'm not
She's
sure on that
saying Ronda Rousey, Miesha Tate 3 doesn't make sense. She should have got the rematch.
Does she not speak English?
McMahon?
Well, she just said it didn't make sense. I'm pretty sure that means it's a third fight.
She doesn't know why that's fight happening. Next, she's going to be the one to dethrone Ronda. This is now the third girl who said she's going to be the one. We had Betch Guerrero, we had Miesha Tate, now Sarah McMahon.
all I care about is Cyborg.
All right.
It's the only fight I care about with her right now.
Okay.
That's it. Then we have Jared.
Who are you taking?
Who am I taking? It's a tough one for me, but I think I'm going to go with Nunes too.
All right.
Yeah. Jared Rosholt going up against Timothy Johnson.
I got Rosholt.
Rosholt as well. Anybody?
No.
All right.
I'm not. I ain't even got a pick. I ain't got a horse in the race.
In that race, Derek Brunson going up against Sam Alvey.
I'm taking Alvey.
I got Brunson.
Really?
Yup.
All right.
I think I got Alvey in this one too. So you're wrong on all your picks already. Because if I'm
Don't take my side, Joe. Don't take my side.
Michael Johnson going up against Benil Dariush.
Johnson.
I'm gonna take Johnson.
I think I'm Johnson on this one too. And then your main event is Glover Teixeira going up against OSP Ovent St. Preux. Crazy fight. You got Glover Teixeira who's got heavy hands.
Heavy hands. He's
Missed out on his title run because
Yep.
he got that loss.
he entered the fight game a little older. He's got heavy hands.
And then you got OSP who's just
Younger.
He's been making a run though.
Making a run. I got to take OSP.
I got to go with OSP as well on this one.
I got to go OSP.
I mean,
think
Glover
especially
Teixeira-
his wrestling credentials. I think he'll be able to take Glover down.
You got.
And I think Glover's looking a little chinny.
he is looking a little chinny, but he still has that one punch knockout power. That
He does.
OSP has to watch
He
out
has a
for.
straight. He likes the straight punches, straight down the pipe. I just think OSP. I think OSP can TKO him too.
Yeah, I agree.
How long was this fight? Let's see.
Who?
With Patrick Cummings? Oh, for some reason I thought it was over a lot quicker.
Against OSP?
Yeah, when OSP knocked out Cummings, but it says 4:54.
Yeah.
So that was almost the end of the round, right?
Almost the end of the round, right at the end of the round.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was into the first round.
It wasn't in the first round.
So we're picking OSP to win that one. That's going down tomorrow night on Fox Sports 1. where the main card is. So make sure you look up your local listings on that.
Yep.
Does that pretty much wrap it up?
That's
then?
wrapping it up today.
So I guess that's it. No more things to go over from that. So thanks for listening. Tell your friends. You can get us on Spreaker, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. Subscribe on iTunes.
Oh, 2 fighters missed weight on weigh-ins.
Just now?
Just now. Let's
Weigh-ins
Oh.
always-
Let- let's-
Hold on.
hang on. We got some news.
We got- this just in.
Wow.
Is that how it works?
I guess, but
Or am I supposed to do this?
this does not work. Can you look it up? For some reason, I'm stuck. Okay.
We'll fix it in post.
It's not a big deal.
Dun, 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 dun. There you go. Oh, slow down.
He's broken.
Who's off weight?
So you got 186, 237.
Ray
No,
Borg
that's
came in
heavy,
at
but it doesn't matter.
126.75. He is 0.25 over. No, he's 0.75 over. He has to make 126 because 125 is the limit. You're allowed 1 pound.
So Borg and
that's it. It's the only one I see it's over.
okay.
Everybody else looks
Yeah, but
to
he's
be
the
good.
Borg, so you don't have to assimilate to that weight. Isn't that how it works?
All right.
All right, so you heard it here first, unless you were paying attention online
Yeah.
and you downloaded this way
He
later.
has 1 hour to drop 0.75 pounds.
We shall see if that happens. Thanks for listening. Tell your friends. It's Split Decision MMA Podcast. You can find us on Spreaker, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. Subscribe on iTunes. Give us a like on Facebook. Of course, it's Split Decision MMA Podcast. Find us on Instagram and Twitter at SD_MMA. And our official website, that is SplitDecisionMMA.com. And newly added to iHeartRadio. Download the app, look us up, and listen every week. Big thanks to StrongBoardBalance.com. Change the way you work out. Get on board. StrongBoardBalance.com and MyMMANews.com. 2.0 is up. Check it out. It's a revamped website. It looks fabulous.
Pretty.
So fabulous. So that's pretty much it from the Ruloff Family Inc. Studios at Bueller and Dodge. And have a good night. We'll see you at the fights.